and staff. Joining us now to discuss the current crisis in the media industry is Professor Eli Polack, Chairman of Israel Media Watch. Professor, thanks so much for coming in. Let's start here at home with Communications Minister Gilad Erdan and his Landis committee, and of course its recommendation that the Israel Broadcast Authority be closed and a new version of public broadcasting rise in its place. Did the committee come up with a reasonable plan?
I think they came up with the only possible plan to save public media in Israel. The problem of the IBA, of the Israel Broadcasting Authority, does not start in the last 3 or 4 years. We've been at Israel's Media Watch following the IBA for the past 20 years or so, and it is just, there was no management spirit there for the past 20 years. I was a member of the IBA plenum over 10 years ago, and we tried to put in some kind of order. It was impossible. And the impossibility came from all sides. It came from the employees, it came from management. There was sort of an ethos of, this is something which we run, we know what to do, we know how to do everything. The public is not interested, is not important for us, and we just know everything. And that ethos brought about a situation which is impossible, and the only way to do it is to clean up.
Do you agree with many critics who said that Gilad Erdan and Yair Lapid were just going for grabbing headlines by throwing it out there, no more Agra? Of course, everybody hates to pay tax. It's just another way to get the public's support for something that perhaps isn't so positive?
I don't think so. I think that if you have a situation where both the minister responsible for the IBA as well as the finance minister come together and put their prestige on the line and come and say the IBA has to be changed so thoroughly, this goes way beyond the question of getting a headline. Let's remember that Minister Erdan set up this Landis committee not yesterday, not 2 weeks ago. This committee has been there for half a year. Its direction was clear. The media was reporting that this is what was going to happen. There's nothing new here as far as that headline is concerned.
There have been 13 committees, though, dealing with the reform in the Israel Broadcasting Authority. What makes you believe that this one will be any different?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope it will be. There's no guarantee that it will. There's no question that there are immense forces in all directions trying to get themselves involved in what's happening. For the good of public broadcasting in Israel and for the good of the public in Israel, we need a public broadcasting authority. We need this program. And this program will continue. I'm sure it will continue, as well as many other programs which are a public service which Israel has to go and give to everybody all over the world. But the only way to do it is to change completely the management ethos, the employee ethos of this authority, and that's what they're suggesting.
Professor, Minister Erdan and Yair Lapid said that Prime Minister Netanyahu supports the plan, but when he was asked by the Hebrew media, he said that he hasn't had time to read the plan yet. Are there any indications of what his view is on the broadcasting authority?
I have no idea. I very much hope that Prime Minister Netanyahu will back these steps which are being suggested. Without his help, it won't work.
Mariv newspaper didn't publish today. The owner reportedly owes 3.4 million shekels to staff, to freelancers. Is the paper doomed? And if it is, what does this mean for the newspaper industry in this country?
The paper is doomed. I don't think there's much question about it. And the reason the paper is doomed is because the paper was much too conservative in the way it managed itself. Again, not the past year or two, but in the past 10 years, in the past 20 years. It didn't read the map correctly. It tried to be Idiot Achronot number 2. It didn't try to go present a different viewpoint to the Israeli public. It didn't try to say, okay, you guys think this way, but we think this way. It didn't try to open itself up to a much broader public than the other newspapers. That does not mean that the newspaper industry here is doomed. Far from it. With correct management, with management which sees what is happening, we all know that there's an internet. We know that there are all these alternative ways of getting news. But this is part of life. Life continues, proceeds, goes forward. And if I run a company, I have to understand and I have to have the vision to go and change the way I'm running things. Ma'ariv did not have it. Now, you see it in all directions, and there's a lot of parallelism between Ma'ariv and between the Israel Broadcasting Authority. It's not enough to say an employee, I have a contract. But at the end of it all, look where it's going. The employees did not help management in Ma'ariv for the past years, not only under Ben Tzvi, but also under previous management. The management didn't do what it was supposed to do. It's very sad for Ma'ariv. As far as Israel is concerned, I'm sure we're going to have more newspapers. We're going to have more, let's call it this way, media purveyors. Just look at the new television channel, which is televising to the whole world.
Professor Eli Polek, chairman of Israel Media Watch, thanks so much for coming on to IBA.
You're welcome. Thank you.